All right, Alicia, thank you. And that will do it for us today. I'm Chris Stewart. Denver7 News at 5 starts right now.
The vaccine is in Colorado, but our governor says the federal government is coming up short in its commitment.
We learned that Operation Warp Speed's leadership has revised that.
The feds say it's a misunderstanding.
So there's nothing actually to fix.
And that the governors have their facts wrong.
There was some misunderstanding from certain of our governors.
The governor says he's got it right, and Colorado will get 20,000 fewer Pfizer doses than anticipated.
We will continue to urge the federal government to work with Pfizer.
Plus, one woman says she can't access the benefits she needs to survive.
And the long-rumored stimulus package is on hold again in the nation's capital.
It's a high-stakes game of he said, and the answer could determine the pace of Colorado's vaccination effort.
This afternoon, Colorado Governor Jared Polis said our state is projected to get about 40,000 Pfizer vaccines. That's only 70% of what we were supposed to get. And now Pfizer's vaccine vials contain extra doses, which are not accounted for, so that should soften the blow. But even after you do the math, we're still getting 10,000 fewer Pfizer doses next week.
The decrease in the Pfizer vaccines for next week, we don't yet know whether that is a expected decrease for future weeks as well. The federal government gives us 1 week visibility into the number of vaccines we will receive, and they have revised the number of Pfizer vaccines down for next week.
Federal Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar appeared on Good Morning America this morning and called this all just a misunderstanding, shifting the blame onto the governors and to Pfizer.
There was some misunderstanding from certain of our governors. We had put into the planning tool some base scenarios just so they could do some rough work on planning. The allocations, though, are always what Pfizer tells us, or Moderna now tells us is available and ready for shipment. We've always said this week that they would have 2 million doses of Pfizer available for next week for an allocation. We'll work to clear up any misunderstanding they've got.
And then, in turn, Polis was asked about Azar's comments.
Hopefully the light that has been shined by the states that have called out this revision in the number next week will result in going back to the original numbers of vaccines, the same number that we received this week. We will, of course, be fully transparent about how many doses are received in Colorado and when.
The Moderna vaccine is expected to receive FDA authorization at some point today. Shipments could hit the road early next week. Now, the state has not had the same issue with the Moderna vaccine as it is having with Pfizer. We are still on track to receive nearly 100,000 doses next week. Many of them will go to nursing homes.
We also got an update today on the state's 5-star program for restaurants and businesses.
Summit County received approval today and could start reopening restaurants under the 5-star rules this weekend. Larimer County could get clearance by next Wednesday.
Under the 5-star guidelines, businesses can reopen if they meet certain criteria, including quality ventilation, employee symptom screenings, and a way to conduct contact tracing.
Counties must also show their COVID numbers are moving in the right direction for at least 2 weeks. So that is why in most Denver metro counties, we are unlikely to see 5-star programs go into effect until the new year. The state says about 280,000 people who are collecting unemployment will lose their CARES Act benefits after next week. And this is directly connected to the federal stimulus debate. And even if they should come to a deal today, people will still see a lapse in benefits for most of January. And as it stands right now, they will not come to a deal today. We've said this so many times during the stimulus fight, but Congress has again hit a snag and a deal is delayed.
Now, negotiators believe they can get a deal done by the weekend. The House did pass, in fact, just a few minutes ago, passed a stopgap bill to fund the government for 2 more days while talks continue. We are waiting for the Senate to take up that. ABC's Faith Abube is in Washington.
Last-minute disagreements on a nearly $900 billion COVID aid package is holding up passage of a bill. Leaders in Congress hoping to tie that bill providing economic relief to those suffering during the pandemic to a bill that would fund the federal government. Missouri Republican Senator Josh Hawley calling the dilemma a self-inflicted wound, demanding the $600 direct stimulus payments included in the proposal be raised to $1,200.
Surely we could start with reasonable, modest relief to the working people in need in this nation.
Republicans also want to limit the Federal Reserve's economic rescue powers in a Biden administration. For their part, Democrats are insisting on billions in disaster aid Republicans fear could be redirected by states.
I'm even more optimistic now than I was last night.
I pray that the negotiators will be able to spend good time today and report to us soon that they have reached an agreement.
More than 10 million Americans stand to lose part of their unemployment benefits if a COVID relief deal isn't reached by the end of next week. The Labor Department estimating 50 million people could also go hungry this holiday season. From California to Texas and New Jersey, the desperation for help in plain view.
People are driving upwards of an hour to 2 hours to get here and then sitting in a line for 3 to 4 hours before they're able to get their box of food.
Hundreds of cars lined up for miles, filled with people wanting something to eat.
This is like 4 or 5 meals I don't have to worry about.
And Colorado reported more than 100 new deaths due to coronavirus today. We have reported 3,427 deaths total. Half of those came in the last 2 months, according to state leaders. And there are 1,476 people hospitalized with the virus or virus symptoms right now. And it's the first time we've been under 1,500 since November. And you can see the curve bending in the right direction here on this graph. Health leaders are hoping Christmas doesn't send us back in the wrong direction.
A system to distribute unemployment benefits has just been plagued with fraud. In fact, we told you about some of the issues with the U.S. Bank Relia card. And now, as they try to crack down on fraud, there are unintended consequences. People on unemployment can't access their money. Contact Denver7's Liz Gilardi is working to get results for a viewer who says her card was frozen.
Every day, our Contact Denver7 inbox is flooded with calls like this.
I'm calling concerning the U.S. Bank Relia card.
They're likely victims of fraud, and they're reaching out for help because they received one of these cards used to distribute unemployment benefits. But these callers are not unemployed.
I'm one of those people who did not ask for or sign up for any unemployment benefits, and I received the card.
I wanted to see if I can get somebody to help me investigate the U.S. Bank Relia card holder services. I was a victim of identity theft and fraud.
A link on their website.
Meet Angela Cantwell. She's a chef and she's now unemployed for the second time this year. She's been receiving her unemployment benefits on a U.S. Bank Relia card. Then she tried using the card to pay a bill.
And I went to use the card and it declined. And I called the number on the back of the card, and the woman told me that there had been a block or a restriction placed on my card because of the amount of fraud that's been going on.
But Angela is unemployed. She says there's about $400 on her card that she can't use.
It's been, almost 3 weeks. And, I know some people can't wait that long.
Angela has made multiple attempts to verify her identity. She sent over copies of her driver's license, passport, and social security card.
One of the people I spoke to, I was like, you guys, this is kind of a serious situation. And they were like, well, yeah, we know. We'll get back to you.
They never got back with her, so that's why she emailed Contact Denver7. We reached out to U.S. Bank Relia card on Angela's behalf, and a representative promised to look into it right away. Until the issue is fixed, her card is useless, and she can't use her unemployment funds to pay bills.
But there is still money on my card that I can't access right now, and they can't tell me when I'll be able to do that.
In an attempt to crack down on fraud, it seems like U.S. Bank Relia card is also freezing the cards of people like Angela, who are in fact unemployed and desperately need that money. Liz Gilardi, Denver7.
So frustrating. Let's move on to weather now. I think everybody got a little bonus snow today. Our photographer in the mountains sent this video back from the Eisenhower Tunnel.
And meteorologist Stacey Donaldson is tracking the weekend conditions for us. Hi, Stacey.
Looks great out there right now. That storm was very quick moving, so our clouds are parting across the Front Range as we speak. So we're going to see clear skies through the overnight hours. It's still cloudy up at Winter Park, where we had some snow up there as well, but things are quieting down, and we are going to clear everything out of the state here as we go in through the rest of tonight. As for those snow showers, just off to our west, we still have a little bit of light snow, but otherwise the bulk of the moisture has pushed to the south. And here in Denver, we are going to remain dry, and through tonight, tonight. We have a high wind watch, though, that's been issued off to our west up into the foothills for winds potentially around 75 miles an hour from Saturday afternoon into Sunday evening. So be prepared for gusty winds to the west and breezy conditions here for the Front Range. At this point, temperatures are mostly in the 30s here for the Front Range. We have 34 degrees downtown right now with teens and 20s up through the higher elevations, and it'll be a cold one tonight. Temperatures in the teens, but coming up, I'll let you know what the Bronco forecast looks like for tomorrow and when we'll see some more snow in the 7-day forecast.
Coming up, a community pays tribute to a couple of firefighters gone too soon.
The pandemic could be pushing teachers out of the workforce.
And could the Broncos be looking to Philadelphia for their next quarterback? We have the Vegas odds after the break.